Hi guys, welcome to my first ever reading vlog. As I'm filming this of today, it is 7:10 on Monday. Monday the 8th of September. I had to double check then. So I'm going to choose my next read because I finished a book yesterday evening. So I've got my TBR jar. Let's see what we get. And yeah, I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to do a reading vlog for a week up until Sunday and check in with you guys on what I'm reading. I'm hoping I will finish a book. I'm also currently rereading Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer because I am doing like a sort of project on that for you guys. So I'm having to reread the Twilight series again. Just to, yeah, you'll see what that is in time. But anyway, so I am also doing that, but I don't know if I'll update you with like how I feel about that. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, who knows. Anyway, let's pick this thing. The Fallen by Tilly Coles. I can't remember a lot of these stuff, like I can't remember what I've put in there. The Fallen by Tilly Coles. Tilly Coles I recognise. I feel like, is this a dark romance erotica? I feel like it might be that. That's our first read, and like I said, I'll update you as and when I feel the need to update you. But yeah, so let's see how this vlog goes. By the way, I'm sorry about my setup. It's not my usual setup. I've just propped you up. I've not got my ring light or anything, and because you know that's what it is. We're giving you rawness. It is a vlog after all. So thanks guys. I will see you in the next clip. Hi guys, a bit of an update. So I just went in to look on my Kindle for that book, The Fallen by Tilly Coles, and I can't find it on Kindle, and I can't find, well, it is on Amazon, but you can't buy it from Amazon because it's banned. I think that's the idea, that's the impression I get. So yeah, and apparently it's very, very dark. So I don't know what to do about it because I could buy it secondhand, but by the time it comes, it's, yeah. So anyway, we're going to choose another book because I think that's just the easier option. I've taken it off my TBR because actually there was somebody put in the review, there's a scene of a child being forcefully, yeah. So that's all I need to say, isn't it? I think you can get the picture. So actually I'm thinking, no, if I actually want to read that. I don't know why I put that on my TBR, to be honest. I'm like thinking there must have been something. I saw something and maybe it said something. I don't know. I feel kind of weird that I put that on my TBR, but anyway. We're back again. Sorry about that. False hope. So let's see what we got. What's the jar telling us? Give us a good one, jar. That one, I kind of actually want a physical. It's been a long time since I've held a physical book. I've mostly been reading on my Kindle, and I love my Kindle, but I kind of want a physical one, you know? Okay, The Game You Played by Annie Taylor. Okay, so that seems like a thriller to me, and hopefully this one isn't banned. I don't think it is. I have read from that author before. So yeah, like I said, I'll update you throughout the day, and yeah, but I just thought I'd come on to say that. So there we go. So I am about 8% through the book I'm reading at the moment, which is called, I forgot what it's called, The Game You Played by Annie Taylor. It's a bit more later in the day, so like I said, I have something to talk about this book. We're only 8% through. So the husband, yeah, I don't like him. I mean, hopefully maybe he gets better, I don't know. I mean, I'm not that shocked. I don't tend to like husbands in these kind of books. Boyfriends, partners, whatever, they just tend to be a bit of idiots. This is a book about a child that goes missing, and the child's called Tommy. He's a toddler. I think he's just turned 2 recently or something like that. Yeah, and it's set in Australia. It's set in the harbour in Australia, in Sydney, and he goes missing. Basically, they go out for a nice day out, mum and dad, and mum glances away for about a minute or two, looks back, probably less than that actually, much less than that, and then toddler's gone. So yeah, missing child trope. Not the biggest fan of that, I've got to be honest, but I'll give it a shot. But anyway, back to the husband. So we're coming to the husband's point of view, right? I just read the chapter of the husband. His name's Luke. Yeah, don't like you, Luke. So obviously the wife is depressed, the mum, you know, rightly so, and so is the dad, but not so much. Now he's a well, they call it a real estate agent or whatever. Here we call it an estate agent. So that's his job. I don't really know what she does, but I think she used to be an actor or stage actor, theatre actor, whatever you call it. She used to do that. And he just made a comment like how basically he sounds kind of controlling, and I just don't like him because he's basically saying like how he kind of saved her from that, and like, oh, I'm glad she didn't actually get too big for her boots. You know, he didn't actually say it like that, but it was almost implied. And then like they got married because she was heavily pregnant with their baby, and he was like, oh, I wondered if she'd even bother marrying me if she hadn't been pregnant and all this. And I don't know, these comments he's making about his wife is just, I don't like it. And like he's forcing her to go to this no, it's been 6 months as well, I forgot to say. It's been six months since the child's gone missing. And so it's not like that long really. You know, if it had been like maybe a year or a year and a half, I might be like, okay, but 6 months is not really that long. Like, it's long, but it's not like long, do you know what I mean? It's not been a year as far as I'm concerned. And I just think, let her grieve, let her, you know, obviously don't let her wallow, but let her grieve, and let her, especially don't make her, especially if she's not the sort of person that likes, maybe this is me as an introvert coming in now and like defending her because I'm introverted, but she also seems to me quite introverted. I mean, I don't know, especially since this has all gone on. Anyway, I'm going off track. It's pissed me off because she clearly doesn't want to go to this like social event. He like networks a lot for his job. That's what he does. And he wants to go out and like basically network and connect with these other couples to like get business and things like that, because that's what his job is. And I'm thinking, all right, we'll go on your own. And she says that as well. She's like, just go on your own, because they're going out to this restaurant. He's like, need you with me because like you're kind of like basically a trophy wife. He doesn't say that, but essentially that's what it is. And it's like, I get it. I get why maybe going on your own, but like surely he could just say to his, I mean, they're not really friends. I guess they're like business partners. I don't know what you'd call them. I'm not really into all that. Networkers. Surely you could just say, oh, I guess it's not a very pleasant conversation. You could be like, oh, you know, my wife's having a really bad time at the moment. She can't come. Just say, that's it. That's what you need to say. You don't need to go into massive detail, but like, just say she lost her son. No one will ask questions if you say that. And no, he drags her out and he's like, oh, this is good for her. And then to be fair, she's playing the part really well. Not that she should have to anyway, but, you know, regardless. And I don't know. And he's sat there. He's fucking sat there. He's sat there in this fucking restaurant looking at all the other couples and their wives and being like, if I hadn't married Phoebe, because that's her name, I might have probably married her instead. And I'm like, Sir, have a day off, please have a day off. Yeah, I just don't like him. Again, this is a very popular trope in these types of books. We are not getting supportive husband. Are we shocked? No, because this always happens. Anyway, hopefully he gets better, but we'll see, won't we? So yeah. Tuesday morning and I'm about 28% through The Games You Played by Annie Taylor. Sorry, by the way, I just want to apologise because when I work from home I look a bit of a mess. I got like little to no makeup on. Don't know why my voice is going weird. My hair's all scraped back. I haven't even washed my hair today, so yeah, I usually do look a bit of a mess when I work from home. Not always, but usually. I don't know why I need to apologise for that. It's not very feminist of me, is it? I've got to be honest, I'm finding it a little bit boring. It is obviously, like I said, missing child trope, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. I don't know why I chose to read that book, but I think it's because I really liked the author, and so I go through her backlist, and that was on the backlist. The characters I'm not too keen on either. It's doing that thing where it's like not doing anything different. So like, I've read a lot of missing child tropes before, and they're not doing anything different with this. It's just the kidnapper, I don't know what you want to call him or her, the person who's playing, it's the person's playing with them, and this is always I guess that's why it's called The Games You Played, because it's like little games they're playing. And I've never been a fan of that. You know, when I first got into thrillers and stuff, that was kind of interesting, but now it's like it's so overdone. The characters are not very great, like the husband and wife, Phoebe and I think his name's Luke. They're just kind of like, Luke's starting to piss me off. Like, he's not a very good husband. Like, he does look after her and he does, you know, I get that he's trying his best and it is a really difficult situation, I totally get that, but it's like, I don't know, like he keeps reflecting on like how he got Phoebe, and like he's very like low-key manipulative, and I don't know, I just don't like him. I'm not getting good vibes off him. Yeah, I don't know who's done it. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. It's all a bit weird. I don't know. That kind of mystery is interesting. I am intrigued to see who's doing it, but I think I know it might be one of the neighbours, but I don't know if the author wants you to think it's this neighbour called Bernice or something. I think it might be her. Like I said, just not really feeling it, I've got to be honest. It's just, I think it's going to be a 3-star. It's just feeling a bit boring. Who knows, it might pick up, but like I said, so far I'm nearly 30% through. I'm not halfway through, so there is that. And I'm just a bit bored. I just thought I'd quickly update you. I'm really sorry, by the way. I was so not set up to vlog and stuff, but anyway, this is our kitchen being renovated. We still are going through renovations throughout the home, so yep, I've said this before. That's why you may see my house looking a bit scraggly, because renovations are happening. So anyway, ignore all this. Although, actually, in good news, we did get this, well, I say we, Andy and his dad, bless him, did that over the weekend. They actually panelled the ceiling. But we're not here to talk about my renovations. Don't mind me, I'm just making butter, as you do. I sound so fucking pretentious. But anyway, I wanted to update you. Let's get into the reading, because that's what you're all here for. So I have just reached over halfway through of The Games You Played by Annie Taylor. And I have to say, it is improving slightly. I'm not on the edge of my seat, if you know what I mean, but it's like, okay, you know, the who did it, the kind of thing is getting a bit interesting now. I think it might actually be Luke. Is that me having a grudge on him because I don't like him? Luke's the husband, by the way. Maybe, but I think it actually could be Luke. It's either Luke, and I think they really want us to believe it's Bernice, is it? The neighbour or whatever, and I'm like, or the neighbour's daughter rather, and I'm like, I'm not buying it. I think usually if the author's trying so hard to make it seem like it's the weird one, it probably isn't. So yeah, I'm intrigued, but put it this way, if someone was to say, right, you have to put that book down, you can never read it again, I'd be like, okay, I wouldn't really care. I don't DNF, as you know, it's my toxic trait. So we shall see. Aiming to finish it, probably not tonight, but hopefully, it definitely be by the end of this week, but I just don't know when. So yeah. Sorry, I'm spilling cream all over myself. Anyway, I will see you in the next clip, guys. Thursday evening, and I've come to update you because I finished The Games You Played by Annie Taylor yesterday evening. What did I think of it? Yeah, not a fan. It was just, yeah, I didn't like it. Why didn't I like it? Well, let me tell you. It was a little bit, well, I say a little bit, it was quite unbelievable. Like, yeah, the characters were unlikable for the most part. Even the mother, I think her name was Phoebe, just didn't like any of the characters. They were quite largely unlikable, apart from maybe Bernice, or was it Bernice? I'm not quite sure how you say that name. And the writing kind of pissed me off as well, because it's that kind of writing where they talk in like third person, so it's like it's first person but they talk in third person. So for example, when it's the point of view of Phoebe, the wife, the mother, and when she's talking about her husband Luke, she'll say it in the wording of like, and that's what you'd like, isn't it? You'd like for me to do that, wouldn't you? I don't know, I hate that. I hate it as if they're talking to them, but they're not. Not usually a fan of that, and I didn't like that, and that happened quite a lot throughout the book. It just dragged, nothing really happened. There was this whole kind of story with, so she, at one point she kind of has a bit of a fling with this guy, and that didn't really go anywhere other than he just turned out to be a bit of a dickhead, and like, okay, I don't know, it was just a bit of a mess, and it was so unbelievable because, do you know what happened? Do you want to know what happened? Who kidnapped the kid? Obviously this is a spoiler, but it ended up being one of her friends. And so basically one of her friends and her husband were having an affair, and she ended up kidnapping Tommy, right, the little toddler, and I'm like, but then hear how this happened. So when I say this out loud, you're going to be like, what the fuck? And that's what I was like, what the fuck? None of this makes sense. So she lives with this friend called Priya, she lives with her 10-year-old daughter. So it's just her and this daughter, right? Now, she's got quite a lot of bedrooms upstairs, and one of the bedrooms, she says to the daughter, oh, by the way, I've got a puppy, right? But you can't ever see it because I need to train it and it's really aggressive. First off, puppies can't really be aggressive. That's not really a thing. Dogs, sure, but puppies? Not really. And if you get a puppy and it's straight up aggressive, what the fuck have you done to that puppy? Because seriously, puppies are just not usually like that. It's very, very rare. Like, I don't think I've ever heard of an aggressive puppy. Like, I'm talking a puppy, obviously dog different, even like a slightly bigger dog. Puppies don't tend to be aggressive. Even if they haven't been socialized much, they're usually just fearful, not aggressive. I don't know, maybe that's just me and my ignorance. But anyway, she tells her daughter, like, don't go in that room because it's like, I'm trying to train that puppy. And so she ended up soundproofing this room and like boarding it up kind of thing. And basically this never happened. She never got a dog, shock. And I don't know, the daughter never really questioned that. She thought it was a bit weird, but she never really questioned it. And she was keeping fucking Tommy in this room, right? Like, what? So her and Luke basically ended up kind of, not really running away, but she was like, oh, let's go on a holiday. And so they got this yacht, and apparently she has a private island, so they just went to this island on this yacht, and she managed to smuggle Tommy the toddler this fucking box or something. Then her daughter finds it and is like, what the fuck, man, why have you got fucking Tommy in this box? And she's just like, shh, don't tell anyone. And even the daughter's like, man, what the fuck, like, what the actual fuck? Husband Luke, who was having the affair with the friend, obviously eventually he found out because it's kind of hard to keep that secret, and he was like, what the fuck, you're weird. And she was trying to make out that Phoebe was like the mental one, and that's why she had to save Tommy. And yeah, it was so messy. And the only reason, so I ended up giving this a 2-star, but the only reason I kept kind of going with this was because I did actually genuinely find out what happened to Tommy. Like the characters I couldn't give a shit about, and like the actual story I couldn't give two fucks about any of it. I'm sorry, I just couldn't. But I actually kind of wanted to know who, it kept my interest there, because I did want to know what happened to Tommy. I need to know, actually, you know, I do actually want to know now, because you know what, fuck this, you've kept me going for so long, I need to know what the fuck happened to Tommy. In all fairness, I didn't guess that. I thought it was either actually Phoebe, or I did think it was maybe actually Luke, or like a neighbour or something. There's this really weird thing, and she mentioned it at the start of the book. So the character Phoebe, she gets all these like letters, well, not I say all these letters, she gets a letter through a door, or I think that's it, or something like that, I don't know. Anyway, so she ends up with this letter basically. And this is where all the cryptic poems start coming in, all that rubbish, right? So she's like, okay, like, cool. Well, she's not like cool, she's like, what the fuck? She gets this letter and she can smell coffee on it, right? But it's like, it's a very specific type of coffee. I think it's like a caramel mochaccino. I don't know, I'm not a coffee person, so, you know, if you're a hot drink connoisseur, then let me know, because clearly I don't have a fucking clue. And it was a very special type of coffee, and she knew where that came from. She's like, this is from this cafe down the road, right? And then she tried to explain that, but being like, I've always been someone who has these extra senses when it comes to smells. Like, someone could just walk past me and I'd know like where they've been just from their smell. She had like a super like power kind of thing, almost, that she had this kind of extra sensory sense of smell, right? Like she was some sort of fucking dog. Like, okay, fine, like whatever. That never got brought up again, and it's like, hang on a minute. Your husband, right, has been having an affair with one of your friends. Now, this friend wasn't like a best friend, but she was very close to her. It was in her friend group, right? And you're telling me that you've never once smelled her on him, and yes, even her scent, or at least her perfume. You've never smelled that, and yet you have this extra sensory smell, and like you were instantly able to tell where that coffee came from. And yeah, I wasn't buying it. Yeah, there were a lot of things like that. There were a lot of inconsistencies, and yeah, I gave it 2 stars. It's a shame, because I did genuinely, I think the only reason, because I was so close to giving it a 1 star, but I think, and actually when I was reading it through, I thought, oh, maybe this is a 3 star, because I'm not loving it, but I'm not hating it. In the first half, I was a bit more like that. But the second half, I was like, yeah, fuck this book. I think the only reason is because actually I was somewhat interested to find out what happened with Tommy. There was a weird thing with like, I don't know, I just felt like the mental health representation wasn't very good. Like I said, the characters were just shit. All of them were kind of quite horrible, actually. Enough about that fucking book, because now I wanted to end on kind of a nice note. So yesterday I bought from the works The Gingerbread Bakery by Laurie Gilmore. Now this is part of the Dream Harbour series, I had to remember then, and I bought this from the works for £5. Look at me doing the promo here. Get it from the works because it's only £5, it's the cheapest one, and you get the exclusive, obviously it's pretty anyway, look at that, and wait, that's not it. You get an exclusive bookmark, and it's got, I think it's Annie and Mac, is it? I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but yeah. and it says the sweetest things are worth the wait. So that's going to be my Christmas read in December, because I'm already starting to put my Christmas books. Sorry, it's just so beautiful. I love these books. If you don't know what the Dream Harbour series is, this is like, I think, is it the 5th one? I'm not sure. There's also another Christmas book that I read last year that I'm going to reread as well, because I'm planning to read these like with the seasons every year. I just love these books. They're so cozy, and they're so like my guilty pleasure, because like, okay, they're not the best things written, okay, they're just kind of cheesy, but I love them. I don't know why, I don't know, I just think they're so cute. So I wanted to show you that, and please buy them from the works. Do not I'm not sponsored or anything, like genuinely, it is the cheapest one. Don't go to Waterstones. I mean, look, you do you, but like, you're a bit of an idiot if you do that, because literally this is like the cheapest one, and you get a lot more with it, and you get a free bookmark, and you get this, and you get it all. So yeah, go and buy your books from the works. With that, okay, so I have Inside Job by Rebecca Myers. I have no idea what that is. Like I said, I barely know half of these. I feel like that's going to be a non-fiction book, right? It feels like something to do with government. Oh my god, what the fuck what is this? Inside Job. I can't look because I'm filming this on my phone, otherwise I've got to like stop the recording. It must be something I chose that's not, I have no idea. I've recently done this as well. I recently, like, was it last month or something? I actually went all, like, it was very recent basically. I went through all this, and clearly I need to go through it again, because I don't know what that is. Inside Job. It must be something that doesn't sound, it might be a thriller, but it doesn't, maybe it is. It's probably a thriller. It doesn't sound like a cozy romance or anything, so we shall see. But anyway, I shall update you as and when I have something to update you about, guys, so thank you. Reporting live from my bed. Yeah, so I just started reading Inside Job by Dr. Rebecca Myers. I said that wrong last time. It's later on in the evening, by the way, so it's still on Thursday evening. And yeah, this is what this book is about. It is non-fiction, I guessed right, and it says treating murderers and sex offenders, the life of a prison psychologist. So there we go, that's what it's about. And I'm about 10% through, so it's not a very long book. It's quite interesting so far, I will give it that. So she's starting out obviously as a prison psychologist, and this is quite a new thing because she starts in the 90s, so this is still quite a new concept at that time. Not unheard of, but it's like to be actually in the prison doing like assessments and stuff is not massively, it was not like a massive thing, I don't think, back then. Well, according to her. Yeah, it is interesting, that whole side of it, especially, you know, as she's a woman, and women in the prison industry and working in the prison industry was still not really like a big thing. But again, it wasn't unheard of, but it wasn't exactly common. Anyway, so her sort of perspective on that so far is quite interesting. But she did make a comment, and I didn't like it. And it said, it kind of gives pick-me-girl energy, if you know what I mean. Because she's working in one of the, like, I think it's Graymore or something, I can't remember which one it is. But she's saying that she wants to work with like the highest problematic prisoners, basically. I don't know what you call it, like high maximum, what do they call it, maximum, I don't know what they call it, oh my god, I don't know what's wrong with my brain. But yes, they do that. She wants to do that. So like the most problematic, awful prisoners you can imagine, she wants to work with, but it must be men, because she doesn't want to work with women because women are too messy, emotional and complicated. Okay, the thing is, I kind of get what she's trying to say, but that's internalized misogyny. Yes, it is. Because you're a woman and you don't want to work with women because they're too emotional and messy. Though I have read a book like this before, but this was about a prison officer who was a woman, and she said the exact same thing. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't believe that. I mean, I don't know, guys. I've never worked in the prison, clearly. So maybe that is a thing. However, I hate that, because it's that classic thing, isn't it? It's like, oh, I don't want to work with women because they're too like emotional. Now, she does make a kind of comment on this that it could be due to her upbringing, because she didn't have a particularly good relationship with her mother, because I think she walked out on the kids when they were like quite young. So, you know, she doesn't really know her mum, and maybe that's to do with it. But I'm like, girl, go to therapy, work through that. You're a psychologist. Like, I don't know, I just did not like that comment. I really have problems with women who say things like that, because especially if you've got a title like that, it really irks me. And I almost felt like just throwing the book. Well, it's not really a book, I'm reading on my Kindle, but yeah, that just, it pissed me off. You know, she hasn't really made any more comments since, so maybe I'll let it slide. But yeah, I really hate that. I hate it. I hate it because it's internalized misogyny. Because what do you mean you don't like working with? You could just say, oh, I don't really like working with women. Like, I just prefer working with men, and leave it at that. You don't need to say, oh, because they're too emotional, messy and complicated. Like, I'm sorry that 9 times out of 10, Rebecca Myers, did you know that a lot of the women end up in the prison system because of men? Did you know that? So actually that's why they end up messy and complicated. Rebecca Myers, we got beef, honey. We got beef. But yeah, I don't know. I'll let it slide. But if she says any fucking thing else, if she says anything else on, it's on. And you get a fucking star knocked off for that shit. Because we're in 2025. When was this book fucking published? I'm going to find out when this book was published. And you know what? If it's before 2010, I might, or even 2020, might let that slide. I wasn't going to let it slide. But if she does it again, if she says anything else about women in the prison, I can't be dealing with it. And also she keeps going on about how bloody sexy she is. Like, okay, we get it, you're 22, you're young, you're blonde, all this stuff, right? And she's going, oh, and all these men are looking at me, and like the prisoners are looking at me, and like the guys at work there are looking at me, and it's like, girl, maybe that's true, it probably is, right? But take a day off. Like, I don't know, she's pissing me off. Like, you know what, she probably is, you know, an attractive woman. She sounds like it. She's quite adamant, like, yeah, I'm quite a catch. I'm like, girl, I think at this point they'd fuck anyone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, any woman could walk through. I don't know. She's really thinking she's something special here. But like I said, I'm only literally 10% in. So who knows? Maybe she matures. I hope so. But so far I'm not liking her attitude, especially towards women. You didn't need to say that, Rebecca Myers. I shall keep you updated. Okay, so it is now Friday. I'm on my break, I'm working from home, and I thought I'd update you because I've just finished Inside Job by Dr. Rebecca Myers. I really did like this, actually. It was so interesting. I gave it 4 stars. I think the reason I couldn't give it 5 stars is because of that little slight misogynistic quote. But to be honest with you, it's a very high 4 stars, and she does talk a lot about the culture of misogyny at the end, and like how that impacts not just the prisoners but the staff, especially during that time. And she admits this, like in the 90s and early 2000s, there was a lot of misogyny, internalized misogyny back then, like I said, with the prisoners, but also with the staff, like the male staff. I couldn't quite give it a full 5 stars just because of that kind of, I don't know what it was. She had a little bit of a saviour complex going on. I think I had a bit of trouble with that. But, you know, credit where it's due. She did do a good job. She tried her best with what she had, like I think most prison staff try and do. Not all of them, some of them are quite corrupt, I know, but like the majority of them. You know, so she did the best with what she could do. She's a psychologist and she's good at what she does. And yeah, I would have liked to know more of what she's doing now. I presume she's still in the service. She didn't really say. So I would have liked to know like where she is now. But yeah, so it was essentially about a program that's no longer available because it was deemed not really effective anymore. But it was about she led this therapy session, a group therapy session with like medium high risk offenders. So there was quite a mix in there. There was people who had done there were paedophiles, murderers, rapists, like you name it. And she was trying to do group therapy, and a lot of the time they would have to reenact it and things like that. And that was, I gotta say, it was really eye-opening and interesting. This is why I love these type of books, because it's just like a completely different perspective that I'll never have, unlikely to ever have, and hope I never have. So yeah, I just absolutely loved it. It was fascinating. However, like I said, I did get a little bit of a saviour complex, and they're a little bit like, oh, aren't we just so amazing, and all my staff are amazing. And you know, although she did touch upon bad side of prison staff, if that makes sense, I feel like she could have elaborated slightly. I don't know, I just feel like that was kind of glanced over a little bit. Although she does mention it, it's not completely put aside. And I feel like the editor had to go back and kind of be a bit like, oh, maybe we need to put something about actually how prison staff can be quite corrupt. And yeah. But yeah, I get it, you know, she's part of the system. She's going to want to congratulate her colleagues and all the rest of it. It was good. I did like it, actually. And this book was published in 2022. So yes, those comments, she should have known better. But I'm going to let it slide because she did talk a lot about, like I said, the actual misogyny and stuff. Very quick, by the way. Like, I was like, oh my God, I didn't realise it was like less than about 300 pages, roughly. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, so I don't know what my next book's going to be, but I shall update you. And then we shall go from there. I thought I would come on because I've got an update for you. I started reading Pine by Francine Toon yesterday. There's the physical book. By the way, apologies about my appearance. It's because I'm just about to gouache art, and so I'm going to talk to you while I'm doing that. But yeah, look, my voice, look how beautiful, I don't know if you can see that, but look how beautiful that front cover is. It's so pretty. It's like minimalistic. Is it blurring? I can't see. Yeah, it's just beautiful. Like, look at that. And it's like minimalist, and it's embossed there. Oh, it's just, honestly, it's beautiful. Love it. And I love the kind of design of this. You probably saw that in one of my clips anyway, but I thought I would show you. So I'm about 40% through. I started it yesterday. I'm really liking it so far. My husband read it and really recommended it to me because he's really into horror and things like that. And it's described as a gothic horror. Sorry, yeah, don't mind me, I'm just going to gouache art as you do. So it's described as a gothic horror. And it's set in the Scottish Highlands as well. So I was like, sounds like me. Sounds like a bit of me. So essentially the story is, it's set in the Scottish Highlands. It's about a girl who, I don't quite know her age, but I think she must be pre-teen. Yeah, she must be, because the dad keeps going on about how she's not quite a teenager yet. So I think she must be between the ages of about 10 and 12. And her name's Lauren, and she lives with her dad. And their mum vanished when she was quite young. Like, I think she was a baby. She just left. They're not quite sure what happened to her. And yeah, it just goes from there. And like, her mum was like known as a bit of like a witch or like a gypsy, and she was a bit kooky, a bit weird, kind of like the local kind of spiritual kind of weirdo. Like, I don't know, she's just known as a bit hippie, a bit kind of out there. I've only just really started, but I'm really liking it, and I just feel so sorry for the little girl. Well, she's not little, but you know what I mean, the girl Lauren. She's kind of like got these abilities that her mum had a little bit, or she's trying to learn it. And like, she gets bullied because they're quite poor, and like they live in like a kind of like rundown house. So I think it's a house, I think it's like a cabin or something, but they live in that. And she gets bullied relentlessly at school and things like that. And like I said, they live in quite a rundown house, and it's getting mold and like it's getting leaks and stuff, and it's just really sad. And I just want to wrap her up. She seems so cute, and she reads Jacqueline Wilson books, which is what I used to do when I was little and about her age. So I'm like, oh my god. Dad tries to buy her like Jacqueline Wilson books. It's really cute. But yeah, anyway, today I'm gonna hopefully getting ready, because we're gonna go to Wren Kitchens to try and sort out our kitchen now. We're going to a kitchen specialist and B&Q shop. We always go to B&Q, I swear. We honestly, I know that store, my local store, I know it inside out. I just thought I'd update you. In terms of reading, I don't know how much I'm going to get run, but the book is like not that long. It's like less than 300 pages, or just don't know. I think it's just over 300 pages, so it's not that long. So it shouldn't take me that long, really. Sorry, I'm ready to brush my teeth now. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping I might be able to read some tonight. I'm hoping to finish it by the end of this week. I think I will, because like I said, it's not very long. But yeah, so far I'm really liking it. I think it might be a 4 or 5 star. I'm not sure yet, but I'm getting more of like a psychological vibe more than a horror. So I don't know, like a psychological, almost not necessarily a thriller, maybe a psychological horror. Yeah, because I just feel like it's all in the mind at the moment. It could be explained by the mind. We're not actually really seeing much evidence of, apart from a neighbour seeing a woman. I don't know, it's all a bit strange, but I shall keep you updated. Sunday, and I thought I'd come on here because I want to tell you that I finished Pine. Really did like this. I loved the atmosphere and the tone. It's, like I said, it is described as a gothic thriller, and I did feel like that when I was reading it. I love the descriptions of the Scottish Highlands, of where they lived. Like I said, it was kind of apt reading this as well, because it's set around sort of Halloween. Well, it starts in Halloween, October, and it goes right through until Christmas. So I ended up giving it 4 stars. I did love this, but I didn't love this, if you know what I mean, hence why I give 4 stars. I think for me, it ended a bit too abruptly. I would have liked to spend more time with the characters and the setting. I just felt like we just needed that little bit more, and that was kind of my only criticism really of the book, is that it just needed to be that bit longer, and that the ending was a bit abrupt. Everything just kind of, all the loose threads did sort of tie quite nicely at the end. Very creepy as well, I will give it that. There was a lot of creepiness, especially when the daughter and her friend were like trying to find the missing friend, and they went to this like abandoned house kind of thing. That was really interesting, that was really creepy. Like I said, there's a bit of like a mystery behind this as well. The relationship between the dad and the daughter was really cute. Overall, it was just really good, but it wasn't great. I'm not going to be like singing about it, just because like I said, I think it just needed to be a smidge longer, and definitely spending more time with the characters and the setting would have really benefited and helped this book. But aside from that, it was really good. So yeah, that's it. I don't know what my next book is going to be. I might update you later, I don't know, see like if I have anything to comment on. I don't know what the next book is going to be, I haven't decided yet. I've done quite well this week. I finished, is it 2 books I finished? I think it is 2 books I finished, so I've done quite well. And they're relatively short books, so maybe I shouldn't sing my praises too much. But yeah, that's still good, isn't it? So yeah, I'm quite pleased with my reading week. I don't know, like with these weekly vlogs, do you guys really want to see this? Because I don't do a lot really during the week. Obviously I work from Monday to Friday, and then like I usually try and read a little bit in the evenings after work, or sometimes during work if I'm working from home and I've got a bit of spare time, or on my break or before work, you know, all that stuff, blah blah blah. But yeah, let me know. And then at weekends I'm usually just super busy, but I do try and fit my reading in where I can. Like today, for example, we really haven't done a lot. Well, I haven't done a lot, but my father-in-law and husband have been doing the kitchen ceiling downstairs, and they finally finished it. It's not finished because we've still got to paint it, but they've done what they can, bless them. So they worked really hard today, and I did feel quite unwell earlier, so I'm glad I finished it before I started feeling really unwell. But I think it's just because I need to eat. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you. Let me know, guys, if you would like to see more weekly vlogs. Like I said, it's my first ever weekly reading vlog, but I've had fun, and it's been quite nice to update you as I go along. I've had fun, so thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you, guys.